What is up, everybody? I have been getting so much feedback from people that were a part of the 31-day video challenge that they loved the Sunday mornings of the challenge because during those Sunday morning videos, I would do a little kind of sermonette, a little bit of preaching. Many of you know my background having been a pastor, but many of you may not. And I don't do this very often, and I miss it. And so I'm going to start doing it more. And so I just thought that this morning that I would jump on because we just finished our leadership team meeting for content compounding. And I had been doing my quiet time a little bit before. And what I read in my quiet time just felt incredibly timely for my team. And I thought, why would it not be timely for somebody on social media? And so what I want to talk about is the topic: do you really trust him? Him being God, being Jesus. And because I think it's easy to say that we do, but when we really unpack this, the evidence or lack thereof in our lives really shows us if we trust him or not, whether we're able to say it or not, right? And so I want to read us this verse. It's Psalm 28 verse 7. And it says this: "The Lord is my strength and shield. I trust him with all my heart. He helps me, and my heart is filled with joy. I burst out in songs of thanksgiving." And so I want us to think about for a minute the second phrase in this passage, in this verse. I trust him with all my heart. I trust him with all my heart. And so as I was kind of meditating on this morning, I was thinking through, like, if trust was present, what wouldn't be able to be present in my life if trust were there? Right? Because anytime we remove something, something else takes its place. Anytime we try to add something, we're going to kick something else to the curb. And so if trust is present, right? If trust is present, I think there's four things that would not be present in our lives if we were doing a good job of trusting the Lord. The first one is I wouldn't worry. If trust were present, if I truly said, Lord, I trust you completely, I am yours, right? The life I live is because of you. If trust was present, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry. And we can debate and we can argue when the reality is, if you are trying to use human arguments against an all superior God, omnipresent, omniscient, right? This is where the arguments don't work, because we cannot use arguments that make sense on this side when God operates on that side. And so we do have the ability, in my opinion, not to worry if we truly trust God. And so if you are a worrywart, if you spend a lot of time struggling with this, you have room in your life to trust God more. That's the beauty of this, is wherever you lack, he's ready to give you more. But if we trusted him, we wouldn't worry. If I trusted him, I wouldn't get angry. And so for those of you that maybe struggle in your anger, the more you trust who God is, the more you trust who he has called you to be, the more you realize whose image you are made in, you have the ability not to get angry. Anger is a choice. Now, we love to point fingers and we love to say, well, you made me. But come on, guys, we know that we didn't make anybody do anything. Nobody made you get angry. You chose to get angry. The third thing is, if I trusted God, I wouldn't try to get even. And so think about the times in your life where someone has wronged you, somebody has done something unfair, unjust, and our first thought is, "Ooh, baby, I'm coming. I'm coming for you. You're not, I don't know when, but you're not going to expect it. And I'm going to get even." Guys, did y'all know that we live in a world that will actually champion this? There are people in your lives that will say, "What? You're not gonna get even? Why? Why would you not get even? They deserve it." And so we've got to realize that the advice that we need is not going to be given to us by most people, because most people don't live their lives by this. This isn't what they follow. And so we've got to be careful who we're allowing to speak into our lives. And the last thing is, if I trusted God, I wouldn't live in fear. I wouldn't live in fear, because what does the news media constantly do? They just preach fear, 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 fear. And it's hate this side because of this and hate that side because of that. Fear, fear, more fear. This side's trying to do this and this side's trying to fear. It's all about fear. When when the Bible is full of opportunity and stories for us to realize that we don't have to live our lives that way. Yes, we can have scary things happening around us. We always will. But one of my favorite parts of knowing Jesus is that I don't have to choose to live in fear the way many others do. But I didn't want to just end this video with what we shouldn't do. Because what's cool about who the Lord is that when we realize what we wouldn't do, we also get to realize and live empowered by what we get to do. Because if we don't do those, there's new things that come in their place. And so if we trust, if trust is present, right? Check out these four things. I would live free. If trust was present, I would live free. I don't have to live in the bondage and in the insecurity that comes with not knowing Jesus. And so think about the freedom that you have available to you, that you're choosing not to tap into. If trust was present, I would love everyone. I would love everyone. You know, it's interesting to me that the most unloving group of people that I know are Christians. It breaks my heart that some of the most hateful people I've ever met have been people who claim to know the same God that I do. And I've never found the passage in scripture that says you get to choose who you love. You really only need to love people that are in 100% agreement with you. You really only need to love people that live the same lifestyle that you live. You really only need to love people that voted for the same president that you voted for. I haven't found any of that in here. What I see over and over and over again is love the Lord your God with all your heart. And then what is the second part? Love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. It doesn't say, but if their skin color's different, you don't have to. But if they live their lives differently than you choose to, like, there are no buts. There's no buts in here. There are truths and there are commands. And for so many of us, we are choosing to treat our relationship with Christ on our terms. We believe this up until it makes us uncomfortable, and then we choose to stop. Because, I don't know if I can love that person. They're too far different. If I trusted God, I would love everyone. Period. Not yeah, most of the time. No, it would be all of the time. I would also forgive always. If trust was present, I would forgive always. There would be nothing and or no one that wasn't worthy of my forgiveness. Why? Because I'm not worthy of God's, and he chose to forgive me anyway. And so isn't it interesting how if we're not careful, we try to be judge and jury over people's lives when we claim to live inside of the forgiveness that God gave us? How in the world can we accept his forgiveness when we're not willing to extend it to other people? And you realize when you choose unforgiveness, you're hurting yourself, not them. That person is out there living their life. That person is out there living their best. They're not waking up late and sleeping in going, "Well, I wish I wouldn't have wronged so and so." You harboring unforgiveness is destroying your life, not anyone else's. And so trusting God gives us this freedom to forgive always. That's why in the Bible, right, it says that my burden is easy and my yoke is light. Or my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I don't remember which way it is. My life is so much better when I choose to let people go instead of hold on to them because of how they hurt me. We have so much opportunity to do this better. And the last thing is this: if trust were present, I would live my life in confidence. Some might even say in Godfidence, that I should be able to walk into any environment, in any situation, in any conversation with someone with confidence that I am going to do exactly what I'm called to do with exactly who I'm called to do it with because of how perfect God is. This is the power that we have available to us. This is why the Bible says, with the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And I've always been intrigued by that passage because we know how small a mustard seed is. And then we know the science behind like what a small percentage of our brains we actually use. And so I'm just crazy enough to think that like if I truly could live out that verse that a mountain could move if I told it to. Like, is that what trust in the Lord looks like? And what I want to end with is the very end of this verse. Oh, look, we got a couple comments. Hey, guys, thanks for being here. At the very end of this verse, I thought about taking this out because this last part's weird, but it's in here for a reason. I burst out in songs of thanksgiving. So the other night, Lana took Everly to see the Taylor Swift Eras movie that just came out. And if you've ever seen video from her concerts, if you've ever been to a concert, right, those people are screaming at the top of their lungs every word to that song, and then the next song, and then the next song. And so at first I read this part, I burst out in songs of thanksgiving. And at first, my first thought was like, this is weird. You know, like this was written 2,000 years ago. And so who knows what they meant by that. But then my second thought was, it's so easy for people to show up at these concerts and literally walk out unable to speak because of how they just laid it all out there. And what do? We go to church and maybe we sing, maybe we're willing to clap, maybe we're willing to like put our hand this much in the air. And I think, man, what if I had a passion and a trust in the Lord the way people have a passion and a trust for Taylor Swift, for U2, for NSYNC when they announce they're going on tour next year? Like what? How would my life be different if I was able to go all in the way we're able to go all in for these secular artists that we go to their shows? Something to think about. So I love you guys. I hope this served as an encouragement to somebody. Have an awesome day.